Gaining access to a video game's source code is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. More often than not, these valuable assets remain in the hands of the game companies who keep them securely hidden away. However, on rare occasions, they slip through the cracks, ending up in the possession of former employees or even collectors. These rare instances are significant victories for video game preservation, enabling the games to be preserved indefinitely. And for game modding, allowing modders to explore and modify the games in ways that would otherwise be impossible. But in 2017, one of these rare opportunities was lost to the gaming community forever. A Reddit user named Chemist49 had discovered the source code for the game StarCraft. However, almost immediately after announcing that it was in his possession, he returned it to the game's developers, Blizzard. In exchange, he received some cheap Blizzard merch and a trip to BlizzCon. Game journalists attempted to spin this into a heartwarming story, portraying Chemist49 as a noble fan who returned something valuable to his beloved game company, and in return he was generously rewarded for his act of kindness. The gaming community, however, had a very different reaction. Many were outraged at Chemist49 for letting such a rare opportunity slip away. By this point, Redditors had already gained a reputation for defending large corporations. So when Chemist handed over the irreplaceable source code to Blizzard, ensuring it would likely never see the light of day, gamers were quick to make jokes at his expense. What made the situation even more frustrating for some was seeing many Redditors praise Chemist and blindly support Blizzard. On the surface, this seems like just another infuriating yet amusing story of Redditors siding with a massive billion-dollar corporation, something we have seen plenty of times before. However, looking deeper reveals a more troubling narrative, a major company taking steps to hinder game preservation. This is the story of Blizzard legally pressuring an average person, knowing they wouldn't have the resources to fight back, and then trying to sidestep a PR nightmare by offering free merchandise in exchange for something they would have seized regardless. It's also the story of Blizzard leveraging game journalists to reshape the narrative, from one where they coldly confiscated the source code and forced an ultimatum, into a heartwarming tale of a loyal fan voluntarily returning the code out of love for the company. Ultimately, this was the time Blizzard swindled gamers out of getting access to StarCraft's source code. Before this whole situation unfolded, Chemist49 had been making posts in online communities like r/gamecollecting and on the game forum Racket Boy, trying to learn more about the significance of what he had found. Hello everyone. First, I would like to say that this site is awesome. I am a retro game collector and have been collecting for about 4 years now. I rarely ever buy PC games, but I have always been a big Diablo fan. I was on eBay a couple of weeks ago and saw an auction with a buy it now price which was reasonable. The picture was taken inside of a storage locker hallway, a bunch of copies of Diablo, Warcraft, StarCraft, some Magic and Warcraft trading cards as well. Looking forward to just adding the boxes to my shelves since I already own these digitally. I received the box on Friday of last week, everything looked great, lots of cool stuff, and then I noticed a copy of Heroes of Might and Magic 4 Elite Edition. Strange thing about it was a label that was on the box and game disc that said, "Property of Blizzard Entertainment." I thought that was pretty cool and assumed maybe a Blizzard employee lost his storage locker or just forgot about it. After digging through more stuff, I noticed a CDR case with a gold glittered disc inside. When I took a closer look, the CD had this printed on: StarCraft Gold Master Source Code. I didn't think much of it at first, but then started looking for more info. Can't find anything except what appears to be an April Fool's article published back in 1998, stating that the only copy of the StarCraft Gold Master Source Code went missing, which would cause the game to be delayed. I opened the CD and confirmed it is the actual source code for StarCraft. I'm here to know what you guys think. I have never found anything like this and so unsure about what to do with it. I have been told it is a historic piece. Anyone have any info on it? Also, please do not ask me to dump the contents and share them with you. I am not going to distribute the code, thanks. Even by that last line, it was clear that Chemist was being careful with getting into legal trouble. Other posts around this time backed up this assumption, but showed that Chemist wanted to find ways to make the source code public, even doing a stream showing off the disk's contents. Makes sense. Well, there's definitely data on the disk and it's in flawless condition, so I might rip it. I just don't want to receive a letter from Blizzard's lawyers a few days after distributing the source code lol. I'm going to stream the CD contents if anyone is interested in seeing what's on the disk. As stated on your stream just a moment ago, you should do yourself a favor and look into the legalities of this. You've posted here, Imgur, and on battle.net. You have also done a stream showing the contents. You are likely treading a very thin copyright line. I'd love to have a copy of this, and so would thousands of others, but don't get in legal trouble from this. Thanks for all the input in stream chat. I'm going to research this for a few days and keep you guys posted. Unfortunately, merely announcing that he had the source code in his possession was enough to attract the attention of Blizzard's legal team. They quickly reached out to Chemist49, demanding that he return the source code to them. Being the legal team of a massive corporation, Blizzard knew they had the resources to intimidate Chemist49 into surrendering the source code. No average person would want to face the prospect of going to court against a billion-dollar company. Even if Chemist had decided to stand his ground and fight them in court, Blizzard knew the odds would overwhelmingly be in their favor. However, there was another problem if Chemist surrendered the source code without resistance. He could go to online communities and share what had happened. If Chemist exposed that Blizzard's legal team had threatened him and forcibly took the source code he had paid for, it would cast the company in a very negative light. This revelation could have sparked a domino effect, with prominent figures like journalists and YouTubers picking up the story and spreading it widely. This scenario seems plausible, especially since Chemist later reveals in a post that Blizzard didn't initially offer him anything in exchange for the source code. Their offers only came after they had already taken possession of it. When I returned the disc, I was not offered anything in return. Whatever I received afterwards was just their show of thanks. Blizzard, a company with a long history of controversies, knew that turning the source code situation into a PR disaster was not in their best interest, so they devised a way to spin the narrative in their favor. After securing the source code, they decided to send Chemist free merchandise and offer him a trip to BlizzCon. This way, the public wouldn't see the situation as Blizzard forcibly taking the source code from someone who had rightfully purchased it, but rather as a heartwarming story of a devoted StarCraft fan doing the right thing. With this plan in motion, Chemist posted updates a few days later, revealing the gifts and the trip he had been offered. I have spoken to Blizzard. The disc was in fact missing and believed to have been stolen. I told them I would return it. They were grateful and even said I would be rewarded. Doubt a cash reward or anything like that, but maybe some Blizzard goodies. In all honesty, this is the right thing to do. If the disc fell into the wrong hands, it would not have been good for anybody. So for those of you who were following my story on the StarCraft Goldmaster source code disc I found, I returned the disc to Blizzard 2 weeks ago. A few days later, I received a copy of Overwatch and $250 in Blizzard store credit. A week later, I got another call from a Blizzard employee. He wanted to thank me for returning their disc, which was in fact stolen. He then asked me if I had ever heard of BlizzCon. I said, well yeah, of course, but it's impossible for me to go. I live on the East Coast and the badges are always sold out before you can refresh the page, lol. He said, well, the reason we're calling you is to invite you to BlizzCon, all expenses paid, and we would love to take you out for drinks. I didn't know what to say. I was shocked. I expected nothing more than the free game and the store credit. After I thanked him 1,000 times, he said, oh, by the way, you should also be receiving something in the mail. This is what I got 2 days later. The response to the situation was mixed to say the least. Some praised Chemist for doing the right thing, while others were outraged that he let such a rare opportunity slip through his fingers. Regardless, game journalists embraced the narrative that Blizzard wanted to promote, lauding Chemist as a true and honest fan. This widespread attention from gaming publications led to Chemist bearing most of the backlash for the situation. Blizzard's strategy was a success. They obtained the source code without facing significant pushback for taking it by force. Furthermore, by offering Chemist these freebies, they managed to frame the situation as a feel-good story about a loyal fan returning stolen property, with the benevolent Blizzard rewarding him for his actions. As a result, they garnered praise from fans who sided with Chemist while using him as a scapegoat for those who were upset. Although he did not explicitly state it, Chemist seemed to imply that there was more happening behind the scenes. In several posts, he mentioned that his options were limited to either surrendering the source code or facing legal trouble. Additionally, he encouraged users who insulted him to discuss the matter through direct messages, almost as if he wanted to share more details about the situation that he couldn't disclose publicly. He even suggested that people should read between the lines regarding what was going on. Moreover, it appeared that Blizzard might have had connections to Chemist's workplace. As he stated, I understand why people are mad. Believe me, I do. However, none of the people that are upset would have paid my legal fees if I had gotten trouble after dumping the code for their benefit. Don't you agree? People keep bitching about it, calling me selfish. And yes, maybe I am selfish. If protecting my job, professional reputation, and overall my life is being selfish, then yes, that is exactly what I am. Yes, the StarCraft community would have benefited greatly without a doubt, and I'm very upset over the fact that I could not provide the code to them. But I can't make everyone happy. It was either dump the code for everyone to enjoy and get arrested, lose my job, lose my house, all to benefit strangers. This wasn't the first time Chemist mentioned the possibility of losing his job over the situation. In a more extensive post about the matter, he stated, after consulting with several lawyers before even speaking to Blizzard, holy shit, a plot twist, I was encouraged to contact them and return it. There is a lot behind the story that has not been published, like the fact that I would have instantly lost my job due to a major conflict of interest. Even if we don't know the full details, it's clear that Blizzard pulled strings to ensure Chemist returned the source code. While publicly portraying themselves as good sports rewarding a fan for his good deed, behind the scenes they were legally intimidating that same fan to return the code, possibly even reaching out to his workplace to coerce him into compliance. This theory is further supported by Chemist's post about working in IT, as well as a positive interview he had with a prominent figure in the tech industry. It's worth noting that this post was made before Chemist came into possession of the StarCraft source code and reads as follows. Got past the Skype interview, director and manager flying in to meet me. Thoughts? So last week I got a call from a very big name in the tech industry. They are in need of someone with my experience in a help desk role. The phone interview went great. Within 24 hours I got an email from HR asking if they could call me on Saturday. Strange, right? I immediately agreed. The HR rep spoke about salary, expectations, scope of work, etc. Next day I got another email setting up a video interview for today. I am on the East Coast, manager and director in the West Coast. Video interview went great. I was able to answer all the questions fairly quickly and they seemed to really like my answers. 1 hour after the video interview, HR contacted me to tell me the manager and director of the department wanted to fly to the office on the East Coast to meet me in person. Has anyone experienced this before? I know it's usually the other way around. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm stoked. Given that the director and manager expressed interest in meeting him in person, it's reasonable to assume that Chemist got the job. It's also likely that Blizzard had connections with the tech giant Chemist worked for, especially considering his mention that uploading the source code would have resulted in an immediate loss of his job due to a conflict of interest. On the surface, the story of StarCraft's source code seems like just another amusing yet frustrating instance of Redditors fawning over a large corporation. Most people, ourselves included before researching the topic, assumed that this was the case and mocked Chemist for trading an irreplaceable rarity for cheap Funko Pop-like merchandise. However, hidden in plain sight were clues revealing the insidious truth behind the situation. This wasn't merely a case of a Redditor willingly giving up a rare game to his favorite game company. It was a billion-dollar corporation manipulating circumstances to undermine game preservation. Not only did they threaten Chemist with legal action, but they also intimidated him with the prospect of occupational consequences, making him the scapegoat for any negative attention the situation attracted. Blizzard successfully took StarCraft's source code from the gaming community whilst pulling the wool over all our eyes in the process.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What did it cost?
Everything.